Hello everyone, my name is John Capobianco. I'm a Senior IT Planner and Integrator for the Canadian House of Commons, and I just want to make a disclaimer that this video and this technology is not endorsed by the House of Commons or Parliament of Canada, nor is it endorsed by or backed up by Cisco in any way. This is truly an open source thing that I want to share with the community that I believe is maybe a valuable tool and maybe will help people start to use the pyATS framework and library without the necessary, I'm going to call it overhead, of being familiar with a Linux environment, with Python 3, with a Python 3 virtual environment, with pip install, with all the stuff that comes with, setting up the pyATS environment for you to use it. Now the pyATS environment, let me go to the screens in a second, but I just want to stop and explain how I managed to get here. Cisco has a development shop in Ottawa, Ontario, and my office is very close to their office proximity-wise. And just through happenstance, the team that develops pyATS is in Ottawa as well. So I was aware of it and became aware of it through my network automation work and my work with Ansible. There was some work that let you plug in what was called at the time the Genie parsers into Ansible, and that's where I got started with the tool. Now the team actually set up a little demonstration, a 1-hour Q&A live demo exploratory session with my team that I arranged to bring to the Cisco offices and the pyATS team. Now they really opened up our eyes with tests and the framework and working Pythonically, and as well as at the time was brand new, was just being released, was Espresso. And so they opened up this world of containers to us and running pyATS as a container and using Espresso as a CI/CD delivery system to schedule them, to put them behind our back, to make them like, as I made the analogy in my other videos, little CD-ROMs of tests or functions, right? Don't limit yourself to just tests. This is anything that we can call in the pyATS framework. So tests, yes, but we can also do things like .learn or .parse a command, or even .configure and push changes, .diff and do differentials. So let me quickly jump over to my screen here, and I'm just going to take you to, honestly, I just want to show you, if you just Google pyATS and go to this Accelerating Your DevOps page, if this is new to you, but this is what we're going to be looking at, is the pyATS docs. Genie's deprecated. It's now known really as the pyATS toolkit versus the pyATS framework. So we're going to use that terminology. That's in the DevNet Associate exam book, by the way, that Genie's deprecated, and that we should be speaking about pyATS frameworks and libraries. So, right, it's incredible where we have a toolbox and an SDK and the libraries. Now, I've done some integrations with Merlin and with Ansible and with Espresso and with my own CI/CD pipelines. But what I would like to do is take everything below the business logic and package all of this up into something that we can run like a CLI, live CLI version of pyATS on demand, without the headache or overhead of setting up environments or anything like that. So that's where we're going to come to Docker. And if we Google this, pyATS and Docker, they have a whole Docker build file that we'll look at. I don't know if there's, right, configure your cloud environment if you use Docker. There's lots of documentation about this, but they have here some examples. If we look at, say, the Alpine Docker file, this is how they build their Docker container, and they leave you in the Python environment, right? So inspired by some of this work, and some of my latest work and my fun with Docker, now how is this build coming along? I'm trying to build this in the cloud right now. All right, it's in progress. That's almost done, but I have it locally. So what I've done, and let me show you here, is I've built something called Portable pyATS, and with a tag of latest. And we're going to run this in a second, but let's look at how this was done. I literally have two files. I'm going to fill in the README file. But we have two files here, and the testbed it's there to guide you and this works with the DevNet sandbox. So if you want to play with pyATS, all you have to do now is spin up your VPN connection to the Nexus 9K DevNet sandbox, and one line command or from Docker desktop, you can run my container and have a CLI into the pyATS world, which is what I've done. This also, I'll show you in Dockerfile, but this, you can edit this out to be your host name, your alias, right? You can change all of this because I've made the container interactive with a shell and with Vim, meaning we can VI that testbed file and save it and run it for your environment. This is also available on GitHub, where you could clone my repo, make your own testbed file for your appropriate topology, and then repackage it as your own container with your own testbed file. Either way will work. Now this is still building in progress. This is great though. And so let's go ahead and get into the container. So let's run it. And we're not mapping anything yet, but we could map these drives. But let's just run it for now. We'll come back to that. And I haven't tested that yet, but I think it's going to work. So now it's just running as a container app, right? And I should give it a name here, figure out how to name these when I run them. Oh yeah, I can do that. Let's start again. I just jump right ahead. Run it, and we're going to give it a name, and we're just going to say portable pyATS. And we could, I think, map the root to one of our folders, and then the files will show up. But let's do that as an advanced step. So now we're going to run it. Now it says portable pyATS as a container app. So think of your everyday workspace. You're a network engineer. You have this massive network. You want to run tests. You want to do things. You want to learn stuff on the fly with pyATS as opposed to the old CLI days. Well, you just run this as a container locally. It just continuously runs. Just let it run, and then we hop into it by typing this CLI button. So now that we're in here, right, I have the ability to do, say, pyATS learn, and let's learn BGP from the testbed file, testbed.yaml. And let me maximize this. Right, I'm inside of the CLI of the container. Right away, look at learning BGP on the device, because my testbed's pre-canned for that router. And there I have BGP. So now I do ls, and I'm going to cat out the operations document. Well, there it is. There's my BGP as JSON, right? Pretty cool. And I can do anything you want. Let's do pyATS parse. And I think I just, do I do it like this? Show IP interface brief. Testbed file testbed.yaml. I hope this works. I'm kind of doing this off the cuff here now that I'm into the CLI. And there, there it is. There's the parsed, and I can. So that's pretty incredible. We have show IP interface brief as well as our BGP all at the CLI. Now, what I'm going to try to do is, let me just do this at the CLI before I try it, right? So let's do make dir output. All right. So now that we have output made, what we can do is do pyATS. We'll do the same thing. Parse show IP interface brief, and the testbed file testbed.yaml, and now we just flag tag output, and we're just going to say output. Now I'm not going to do anything else. I think it makes files for us. I don't need to specify .json or anything like that. I believe that's correct. Maybe not. Testbed file. The following arguments are required. I have testbed file. Oh, I spelt it wrong. Oh, John. Let's try it again. Oh, and I can't do that either. Yeah, test bed file, testbed.yaml, and then I'm just going to, and it's output. Anyhow, sorry, typo aside. I'm not going to start again because of the little typo. So let's learn that, and now we have two files. If I cd into output and ls, now I actually have my so I can cat, right, this brief console here and have my IP interface brief. That's the console. Now I also have the parsed. If I cat that, whoops, cat the parsed will give me the JSON. Very slick right now. So you say, so who cares? Well, here, let's destroy this whole thing. Let's destroy this whole container. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a new app, a new container, but this time we're going to map it with a volume. So I'm going to say this is portable pyATS, and we're going to mount, I'm going to show you the long way, C, automate your network from Docker, portable pyATS. Let's just do that. And then here we're going to say /output, and we're going to run this container. So the first thing we do when we shell into this container is make dir output. Oh, it already exists. Okay. Oh, I see, because it was there from previous. Let me just clean it out. cd output ls. Why is it? I thought it was destroyed. I guess I have to rebuild the whole container. Let me just start from scratch then and delete that whole image. And then we'll rebuild the image from scratch here. Docker build, and we want to call it my name portable pyATS latest. So this will rebuild the local, and I'll have a fresh copy of the image without an output folder inside of it. And we'll just start from scratch and make a new container. So this is why I think this is pretty neat. And again, this is a Windows computer I'm on. So let's do this again. We're going to say portable pyATS, map it to my volume, container path is /output, right? Run it, come into this container, say ls, there is the output folder. I guess because I'm not deleting the image. Well, now that it's mapped, yeah, C folder is empty. Where's my shell? pyATS learn BGP testbed file testbed.yaml output. Let's just try it. Don't worry about this output folder hanging around. It must be using a cached copy. Something like this is happening. Anyway, let's just do this new command, and here's my folder. Right, look at it, they're coming in more or less real time. There's the files. So in my Windows box, I have all my BGP as JSON. I have the raw BGP if I'd prefer to read it as CLI output. It's all there through a portable pyATS container. Anything you can think of with the pyATS framework, learn, diffs, whatever, we just put the output here. Let me switch back to the main video here. What I hope to be able, let me show you this. What I hope, let me go back. I've included Vim. So what the whole intention is yes, there's a testbed file, and yes, it works with the VPN. But inside of the container, let me make sure I'm sharing my screen here. I've provided the ability for you to say vi testbed.yaml, update this file with your topology, your testbed, and then you have the portable pyATS for your environment, right? So I haven't tried this yet. That's my next step, is to truly see how portable this is. And what I want to do is in my lab, in my sandbox, see if I can run this container on the Nexus device. That will be my next video. It's a little more advanced. So this is portable pyATS, an introduction. You can clone the repo. You can run the container. It is available now on Docker Hub. Let me again show you real quick before we go. I'm going to go to the public view. This is what you will see is John Capobianco portable pyATS. You can pull it with this command. It has the latest tag, which you can pull and run locally with this sandbox or with VIing the file. with your own device. Thank you. Stay safe.